Defense made a motion for a mistrial. Prosecutor was up to some fuckery. Potentially damaging evidence, no basis for it. The judge specifically said, do not ask that question. Do not use that as evidence. She walked right down the path and asked the question. It may be over on Tuesday morning. Batman Bruce Wayne bitch snitch. Gerald Brooks, your constitution does not apply to me because I'm a sovereign citizen, a traveler on the land, I'm the Moorian Empire or whatever, bitch snitch. Because they're so fucking absurd. If you want to be a sovereign citizen, just do yourself a favor first. Go to YouTube here and just get every sovereign citizen that's ever been before. Find me one that won. God dang, you're right. Don't go down this. It's not the path. Don't have time for stupidity. Some clever dick on the internet didn't find the great loophole in all of the world's law. Bitch snitch. God dang, you're right. God dang, you're right. Traveler on the land. Moorish Empire, traveler on the land, bitch snitch, Moorish Empire, God dang, you're right, traveler on the land, bitch snitch. Late evening U.S. people.
What do you got?
I think I can prove to a judge that both of these men had the mens rea.
What the hell is a mens rea?
It's a legal term the lawyers use. It just means the intention to commit a crime.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Mens rea?
Put the cuffs on him.
How could we have gotten mens rea? We take blood? Can you do it without taking blood? We both use condoms. How is this possible? I want to see a doctor. Can I have an independent blood test?
Money!
I feel sick.
What are you doing?
Mens rea! Oh! Oh! My God!
Into the mud, scum queen!
Hey!
Dallas Multipass.
Wow, that was a bonus. Where'd that come from? That was a surprise. How you doing? Dallas Multipass. It's Monday. And how are we doing? All of you wonderful people out there. Glad to see everybody here. We're ready for day 5.2. And of course, Yoda doesn't say a word the entire day. Now he wants to have a whole ass conversation. So anybody that's still here, listen to the dog freak out, welcome. Glad to have you here. Just seeing what's going on over here. Mary Jane says, lol, multipass. And Dob, too. Good morning from Utah. Well, hello, fellow Utahn. How are you? Let me kind of bring the microphone down here. All right, we are on day 5.2 of the LEILANI Simon murder trial. Hope y'all had a good weekend. I had a great time camping. We did our mukbang, our jajangmyeon eating stream on Friday, where we talked about some serious stuff. We kind of got into it a little bit there, but we're back to this week. There's not a whole lot to talk about in the run up here. We're going to see how much a day 5 afternoon we can get through, and before we do that, it's time to take a peek at the housekeeping stuff. We have to clear off the board here. First of all, as always, there is a like and subscribe poll set up here. If you are here with us right now, please get down there and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you have subscribed, please double check to make sure you still are. And then take our like and subscribe poll, which is just our little old way of reminding you to do all those YouTube-y things. Basically liking and subscribing, and please tell your friends about us too. Let's continue to grow. We got our like and subscribe poll over here set up. It's over here for me, and I guess it's over on your right too. This is my right. Our like and subscribe poll, which again is just designed to help you do those YouTubey things. You guys have no idea how I get these polls. It's a struggle a lot of times. Today, just out of the blue, is Pluto a planet? Of course it is. It changed. And shut up, it always was and will be. Or it's a Disney dog, but it's also a planet. In case you haven't noticed, I'm firmly of the opinion you just can't say, oh, you're not a planet anymore. Sorry. It identifies as a planet, damn it. All right. So that's our stupid like and subscribe poll for the day. So, yeah. Tell us where your opinion is on that stupid thing. Anyway, again, that's just our little shtick we do. And speaking of little shticks we do, today, if you are unaware, is day 60 day 60 of the emotional support potato pig dog cam. We're 0.6 of the way to the 100, to the triple digits. Let's see if we can keep this streak alive. Will we hit the goal, chat? Will we reach day 61? We'll find out. It's entirely up to you. If you want the emotional support potato pig dogs, they're here awaiting their release into the wild. You've heard Yoda already. Strawberry is chewing on something I can't see, and they're waiting for their 15 minutes of fame today. So if you know what to do, if that's what you want to do, if you don't, I'm cool with it. I see them all the time. Rare in the history has started us off with a member who's been 26. We've been doing the memberships for 26 months or more. Wow. Times be a flying. Wish me luck at jury duty today. Oh, sweet. Can't decide if I want on or off the jury. You always want on the jury. Just real quick personal rant here. It pains me every time people are like, how do I get out of jury duty? What can I do to get out of jury duty? Or everybody's giving each other pointers on how to get out of jury duty. I understand you get paid shit. I understand that it sucks. But it's a privilege you have. It's a privilege you have to be in this country. And by this country, I don't mean Korea where I am. I mean the United States. It's a privilege to be a citizen of the United States and have the ability to sit on a jury, to exercise your participation in the great American project. People need to be judged by a jury of their peers. The smart people are the ones that need to be on the jury. The guy's like, I can't think of a single reason not to be here. I don't got a job. I ain't got no education. Those are the people that get on the juries. We don't want them on the juries. We want smart people. We want responsible people. We want people with life experiences. We want you to be on the jury. So please don't try to get out of jury duty. Just see it as sort of payment for your right to live in a free America. Who would you want if you somehow found yourself rightfully or wrongfully accused of a crime on the jury? Would you want just some, schmo off the street that doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground? Or would you want a rational, reasonable, clear thinking, smart person like yourself? Anyway, that's my little rant. I hope it's a great day, rare in the history. I hope you get on the jury, and I hope it's a really interesting case. Matilda dropping the first of the cash for the €2. Hello from the Netherlands, Vices in chat. And the doggos. Well, good afternoon, 2 p.m. in the Netherlands. See, I remember. After 2 p.m. in the afternoon in the Netherlands from 10:14 p.m. Korea. Thank you very much, Matilda, as always. Always a pleasure to start the show with you. And Adara coming in hot on the heels of Matilda with a $2 super chat. Is mens rea contagious? Do I need to wear PPE? Oh, so many jokes I could make. Yeah. All right. That's it. Right. I think that's it. We've got everything we need to do to get out of the way before we jump into this. So we're on our way to unleashing the emotional support potato pig dogs. The gears have been greased. Now they've just got to roll down that track if that's what you want. But we are here for day 5.2 of the LEILANI Smith trial. It's not going well for her. It's definitely not going well. And every witness that gets called, it just kind of seems to go a little bit worse for her. There was one little glitch a couple days ago with the seance woman who said that she summoned the ghost of the deceased little boy with a candle and a Bible, and he told her what happened. Other than that little glitch, it's been pretty bad for her. Oh yes, okay. Thank you, Chaos Coordinator. I shall do that. You've just reminded me. I forgot to light the beacon. Gondor requires aid. There. Gondor requires aid. All right, there we go. We've lit the beacon. All right. Sorry for that little interlude. Right. Let's get into it, shall we? Nerd. Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the afternoon of day 5 of the LEILANI Smith Toddler in a garbage dump murder trial. And Rohan will answer. I'm good. Didn't know that, didn't you? Oh, I thought I had it queued up when the jury came in. No, now the jury's coming in.
We have concluded the last lunch for the week, right? You're not that lucky. So was everyone able to comply with the instructions? Yes. Not to discuss the case, not to do any research. Okay, we're going to turn to the state now and move on with the testimony.
The state will call second to last witness of the week, Randall Noble.
Randall Noble. Based on the Tolkien screaming, Gondor needs some mental health aid. They could do. Y'all knew that Dionne Warwick was Whitney Houston's aunt, right? Let's keep going here.
Thank you, clerk. Raise your right hand. Do you have issue checking the court and jury in the trial position? Should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So
all right, Kenneth. That was your name, Kenneth? Detective Kenneth somebody or other?
Good afternoon, Detective.
Yeah, could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
I'm Detective Randall Noble.
And how do you spell your version of Randall?
Randall spelled Randall.
And normal spelling of Noble, N-O-B-L-E.
That is correct.
All right. Where do you work?
I work with Chatham County Police Department.
And how long have you been with the Chatham County Police Department?
I've been with the department for 6 years.
And where are you from?
Originally raised in Enterprise, Alabama.
How did you end up in the Chatham County area?
I joined the military after college, stationed at Hunter Army Airfield.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to UAP.
Did you get a degree there?
Yes, in criminal justice.
Okay. What'd you do in the Army?
I was infantry.
Did you deploy?
Yes, I did 2 deployments, Afghanistan.
And you said you joined the Chatham County Police when?
I joined them 2018.
Okay. Was that shortly after you got out of the Army?
Yeah, it was a smooth transition. I would say it was about 2 months right after ETS. I got out of the military. I joined up with the department.
What was your first position at the department?
I was a patrol officer.
And are you now a detective with the Criminal Investigations Division?
Yes, sir.
When did you join CID as a detective?
I've been a detective for about 3 years.
So you were a detective in October of 2022.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'd like to draw your attention to October 5th.
Chat, you guys know how to ADHD me off the damn rails. No, Dolly Parton did not pass away a couple of days ago. Her brother passed away 2 days ago.
2022. Were you on duty that day?
Don't sidetrack me.
Did you respond at some point to the house at 535 Buckhalter Road?
Yes, sir.
How did you know to go out there? Did somebody tell you to go out there?
Either Sergeant Dennis, Sergeant Solomon, I don't recall which supervisor, but typically when we get call outs, especially during the duty day, we responded to 535 Buckhalter.
Now, we've heard some testimony. We've seen some body-worn camera still frames showing you and Detective Wilkins getting there at roughly the same time. Him maybe a little bit earlier than you. Does that sound about right to you?
Yes, Detective Wilkins arrived before I did on scene.
And were you second on scene for CID?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us generally what was going on there when you arrived?
When I first arrived on scene, I met with Lieutenant Foster, who was head supervisor on scene at the time, and he basically just gave me the rundown exactly, who he talked to and what situation we're dealing with.
Now, what was Wilkins' responsibility out there? What was he doing?
At the time, he interviewed Leilani.
And what did your role become upon your arrival? What were you doing out there?
So after I talked with Lieutenant Foster, I met up with Detective Wilkins, who was already speaking with Leilani. And then after he conducted his interview, I had a brief interview with Leilani while Wilkins was right there.
Now, were you involved in coordinating the transport of Leilani Simon, Paul Simon, and Daniel Youngkin to Chatham County Police Department headquarters?
Yes, sir.
And is that building in Chatham County?
Yes, sir.
What was your involvement in the transport?
I took Leilani to the precinct.
What type of vehicle did you take her in?
At the time, it would have been my silver Ford Explorer unmarked vehicle.
Now, what's the back seat of that vehicle like?
It's just a normal, for that vehicle, it's just a normal back seat.
Wait, dude was in the back seat with her?
Patrol car with a cage and all that.
No cage, no plastic seating. I mean, it has your seatbelt, your standard seatbelts.
All right, so you gave her a ride.
Correct.
When you got to headquarters, we've heard some testimony that detectives and FBI agents paired up in teams to interview these three people. Is that your recollection?
Yes, sir.
Who were you paired up with?
I was the Special Agent Solomon.
And who did you and Special Agent Solomon interview?
We interviewed Danny.
Okay. Was he cooperative during October 5th?
Yes.
And at some point, did he give you consent to go through his phone and to download his phone?
That is correct.
All right. Did you also conduct an interview with Joe Swain when you were there?
Yes, after we interviewed Danny, I conducted an interview with Joe.
And who is Joe Swain in relation to the defendant?
Joe would be Leilani's older brother.
Okay. I'd like to show you what's been admitted into evidence as State's Exhibit 3 and identified as still frames from Sergeant Stewart's body-worn camera. Specifically,
You get to see some more body cams. Cool.
slide 18. Okay. Do you see Joe Swain in this image? Is that him behind the truck there?
Yes, I believe that's him.
Okay. So he was at the scene at some point and came to headquarters?
Yes, he was on scene.
Okay. And did he have any relevant information to provide? He didn't live in that house at the time, did he?
No, to what he provided that he moved out 6 months prior to this incident.
Did he have any relevant information to provide to you all though that assisted you in the investigation?
Yeah, so the initial interview, he thought it was odd that Leilani would blame Henry.
Well, hold on. Let me ask you just about the ADT records, okay?
Not yet. Not
Did he
yet.
have
No
access
ghost
on
yet.
his phone to ADT records pertaining to the house?
Yes.
Tell me why did he have access to that?
To my knowledge, he had access because he's the one who set up the account for Billy Joe, the owner of the residence, and he still had access because he would access it for her.
Hey, tell us about this ADT system, what you know of it.
So the ADT records he provided was basically like similar to like a phone log. There were sensors on the doors to the living room, the front door, and the dining room is what it was labeled in on the records. And each time the door would open and close, it was time-stamped. And he had a screenshot version as if you were to check your bank records, you could see your statements. Well, he had a screenshot version of actually being able to access what day to look at the sensors.
Was it like an app on his phone?
Yes, that's correct.
And was he able to show that to you and sort of walk you through what doors had opened and closed when?
Yes, sir.
Now, was there any particular, let me just make clear, are you talking to him about this on the scene or at headquarters?
No, so he provided the screenshots. He sent them to me via text while I was on scene executing the search warrant. This happened after the interview with Joe.
Oh, okay, so it's after headquarters, you've gone back to the scene.
Correct.
All right. Was there any particular door activity at this time that was of interest to you that he provided?
Yes, at the time he provided a screenshot of the front door, which when we responded initially on scene, Leilani stated she woke up at 9 o'clock in the morning, approximately 9 o'clock in the morning. And then I was provided a statement from Danny when I interviewed him with.
Oh, what the hell? He suddenly started speaking in super time. I don't know. Maybe the guy just started. Was it just me or did this guy suddenly start speaking really fast? Just to double check, we'll reset him back here to 1.25 speed. He needs to know his place. Don't be talking too fast.
And Solomon that he received a phone call from Leilani at 9:14. And initially at this point in the investigation, her statement was she woke up, the door was open, she searched, and then she called Danny. Well, when I was provided the ADT records, it showed the front door opening at 9:22 a.m., which conflicted with Danny and LEILANI's statements.
Now, did you follow up with ADT, the company, in search of official door sensor records from them directly?
Yes, I executed a search warrant for ADT to get certified records.
And did they turn around responsive records to you?
That is correct, yes.
Do you see in front of you a document marked as States Exhibit 58?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize that document?
Yes, this is the search warrant.
The search warrant you sent to ADT?
This is the one I mailed to ADT. That is correct.
When did you get that search warrant? When did you obtain it from the judge?
I obtained it. Can I look at my report?
No.
Would it help to just look at the warrant? I mean, wouldn't the warrant have
Of course you can, sir.
I mean, it was signed the 14th day of October, but I just want to make sure the day I mailed it out.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so October 17th, 2022 is when I mailed it.
Okay. And did they give you responsive records after receiving that search warrant?
Yes, sir. On October 27th, I received an email by Stacy Wise providing me with the records that were requested.
Now, the records that you got from them, what do they look like? What's the format?
So the format is
LP.
basically she provided a business record certification stating that she's the one who pulled the records. And then the format is what I requested were the days from September 28th to October 5th. And it's pretty much just a timeline of since September 28th when I'll just look at it real quick. From the point that the dining room door opened at 5:12 in the morning to all the way up to the point of
You can't call this guy Kyle
10:22 when the door
Porterhouse. That's
opened at
mean.
23:56 p.m.
So that all the way through the evening, like
Correct.
that time of October 5th. So what was that? I didn't catch the opening date, like a week's worth of records or
I
something?
requested from September 28th to October 5th of 2022.
Okay, so a week. And do those records show when a given door opened, like open and closed, kind of all in the same go, or just open, or just closed after having been open? Can you tell all that from those records?
Yes, sir.
Is there something about cameras at that residence associated with the system?
So there are cameras supposed to be with the system, but the cameras weren't activated.
They weren't working that day?
No,
Well, that's kind of pointless.
ADT was not able to recover any camera footage.
Okay. And at some point, did the defendant and some other people told you the cameras at the residence weren't active during the relevant time frame?
Correct.
Now, these ADT records, again, the format of what you got, what does it look like? Just like columns or a spreadsheet or what?
I'll go with it's a spreadsheet. You go from left to right. It'll give you a monitor or message, which would be a monitor is actually the door sensor moving. The message is when the system itself is doing a self-check to say, like, the sensors are still working. They still can reach a camera or whatnot. And then it will go into how they would describe each sensor. For this sake, sensor 1 was described as front door. Sensor 2 was described as dining room. And sensor 3 was described as living room.
Your Honor, at this time, I would introduce into evidence States Exhibit 58 and 50. 59 is the ADT records that you got back.
Yes, sir.
All right, I would introduce States 58 and 59.
Any objection?
Having reviewed both, Judge, no objection.
Those are admitted.
Now, let me ask you this. You get these records from ADT, and I understand you said they have a business record certification with them. We have heard, I think, some interview footage of the defendant claiming that the front door sensor wasn't working properly at the time or something along those lines. Did you do anything yourself to ascertain, to verify whether these records are reliable, whether the statements in the records about when a door opened or closed is something that you can rely on and seems to be true?
Yeah, so what I did, I reviewed BWC footage from the officers that were on scene, and given the doors being open so actively, I thought it was a good source. Well, our BWCs, they're also time-stamped as well. I was able to timestamp one of the officers, Officer Jepson, when he walks into the house with Danny. It was the dining room door at 10:01, and then it correlated with his BWC. Also, there was another when Lieutenant Foster was messing with the front door at 10:16. I was able to review Voss's BWC, which cooperated with it was timestamped 10/16 as well.
Okay. So after cross-checking opening and closing of the door that you can see on some of these responding officers' cameras against the entries that you're seeing in the ADT records, do you believe those records to be accurate and these sensors to have been working properly at that time?
Yes, sir.
Now, you mentioned that these records are in like kind of a spreadsheet format. Have you done anything to create a visual aid to show the jury when the various doors in this house open and close, or just opened, or just closed after having been opened?
Yeah, the PowerPoint was created with a layout of the house, and then the front door, living room door, and dining room door is labeled through slides indicating when one door was open and closed and one door was open, vice versa.
Do you see in front of you?
Okay, that's one thing that I've been wondering about, because one of the witnesses testified that this system recorded in the middle of the night the door opening like 50 or 60 times. So finally someone can answer this question I've been wondering about the door opening. So, it's it's a weird security system they have that tells you how many times the doors open, which doors open, which ones close, what time they do all that, and then it has cameras. And then they go, oh, never mind. We're not going to turn our camera on. Oh, wow. I got to figure something out here. My YouTube studio just shut down and said to verify it's you. To continue, we need to confirm it's really you. The extra layer of security helps keep your account safe. Well, I'm going to push play here, and then I'm going to figure out if I can verify myself.
A document marked as States Exhibit 60, or perhaps it's just
What is this noise?
It's labeled ADT PowerPoint. It's 60, yes.
Now, have you reviewed the contents of that disk?
Yes, sir.
All right. Does it contain the presentation that you've just described?
That's correct.
Oh
And
my God,
the
now you're
contents
sending
of
a
that
text to my
presentation
phone.
accurately reflect what the ADT records themselves say.
Yes.
Do you believe that presentation will aid the jury in their understanding of your testimony?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would offer States Exhibit 60 at this time and ask permission to publish it.
Objection.
60 is admitted, and you may publish.
Chat, I am pleased to announce to all of you that I am, in fact, me. I have proven to YouTube satisfaction that I am me. So we're good to continue the stream, it seems like. But before we go anywhere, let's see what's going on here. Irish, I was drunk, joined us for a €2. Hey, Jeff. Hey, chat. How are we? All good, I hope. I am wonderful today. I'm here, and not the least reason of which is that I have now proved to YouTube satisfaction that I'm me. So thank you. I hope you're having an awesome, I guess, be afternoon yourself. Let's continue. I'm so glad I'm me. It's me I like. It's not the way I do my hair. It's me I like. All right, let's fast forward this to some action here.
Absolutely.
All right, we got the house.
Do you agree with me that this presentation is not the most exciting thing in the world?
Absolutely.
You ready to rip through it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are we looking at on the first slide?
So from my right to your left, this is Leilani and Danny's room. I'm gonna get a little closer.
Yeah, you can step down if you want to just
So
step.
this is Leilani and Danny's room. This is the first floor of the house. I don't have the second floor. And all we're caring about is the front, dining room, and living room door. Front door will be right. These right here are just windows. I know they look like doors, but it's just the way they are. Front door will be right here. Dining room door right here, and the living room door is going to present itself right here. And the stars are actually where the doors would be.
And is each successive slide going to represent essentially an entry from these ADT records?
Correct.
Now, the first entry.
Incoming Raiders from Aussie Overlord. Welcome, Aussie Overlord Raiders. Congratulations for joining us over here. Thank you very much. We got 236 people here now, and 125 likes. 110 of you on your way in need to hit that like button, the subscribe button. So let's do it. Welcome all of our Aussie Overlord Raiders with open arms. And I got Journey going through my head. Thanks.
What is the date and time for this? For each of these, why don't you just tell us the date, time, and what door is showing activity and what that activity is, okay? So we're on slide 2 here.
Okay. So we're going to start with October 4th. This is going to be 4:16 p.m. Down below is when the dining room door opens and closes.
Slide 3.
It's October 4th at 4:28 p.m. The dining room is opening and closing.
Slide 4.
October 4th at 4:40 p.m. The dining room is opening and closing.
Slide 5.
What?
October 4th at 4:43 p.m. The dining room is opening and closing.
So still like mid to late afternoon.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to move the closed captioning down because the door that's opening they're showing it with a star.
At this point.
So down.
Correct.
This here is the
Slide
door
6.
opening down in the corner.
At 5:29 on October 4th,
Now it's in the upper
front
right
door is closed.
Now, can I presume from that there was an earlier entry showing that door being open but not closed?
Yes, the presentation didn't go far back enough, but on the ATT records do reflect that the front door was opened prior and was not closed, and that's why it's just now showing it closed.
Okay. Slide 7.
On October 4th at 5:45 p.m., the dining room is opening and closing.
Slide 8.
At 17:52 on October 4th, the front door is opening and closing, along with the dining room door is opening and closing.
Now, does this mean that these events happened at the exact same time, or does it mean something different?
No, it happened within minute. It happened within the minute. The AT record does not break down seconds, so there will be repeated like front door opening and closing at some times. That's why it will reflect. There's further into the presentation, there'll be another slide like this, but it only would break down 5:52 between 5:52 that both these doors open before 5:53 hit.
And closed as well, right?
Correct.
Is it fair to say that where there's no special notation, that each of these stars represents the door opening and closing in the same entry?
Yeah. So for the most part, a lot of the entries we use basically the blinking star. It's common. You open the door, you close it right away because you're just going through. So just a blinking star means opening and closing.
Okay. And does this presentation specify where a door is open but not closed?
That is correct.
Slide 9.
October 4th at 5:55 p.m. The dining room is opening and closing.
Slide 10.
October 4th at 6:26 p.m. The door is left open.
Which door?
The front door, sorry.
All right. And so at this time, this door is open but not closed.
Correct.
Slide 11.
On October 4th at 6:44 p.m., the front door is still open and the dining room is open and closed.
Slide 12.
On October 4th at 7:19 p.m., the front door is closed.
Slide 13.
On October 4th at 7:19 p.m., the front door is open and closed.
Slide 14.
On October 4th at 7:43 p.m., the dining room door is open and closed. On October.
This is just for the record. This is slide 15.
Now I got to comment on one thing here. Watching this, if I'm growing up, if we opened all of these damn house doors this often, my mother would have beat my brakes off. I mean, God damn it, stay inside or outside. Make up your mind. You got one last chance. If you're going to stay in, stay in. If you're going to get out, get out. Don't keep coming in and out and in and out. You're letting all the bugs in. That I would get my ass. We would have literally just had our brakes beaten off if we opened the door every 5, 10, 20 minutes in the house. Holy crap. Jeez.
On October 4th, 7:46 p.m., the dining room is open and closed.
Slide 16.
October 4th at 7:59 p.m., the door is left open.
Which door?
The front door.
Slide 17.
On October 4th at 8:41 p.m., the front door is closed.
And that was after having been left open on the previous slide.
Correct.
Slide 18.
On October 4th at 9:41 p.m., the front door is opened.
Slide 19.
On October 4th at 10:11 p.m., the front door is closed.
Slide 20.
On October 4th at 10:11 p.m., the front door is open.
God dang.
Slide 21.
On October 4th at 10:22 p.m., the front door is still open. And then the dining room door is open and closed.
Okay, now we're into the sketchy
Your
part
Honor,
of the
I
night.
will note for the court, at this time, we've introduced this exhibit only on a disc. I do intend to print a paper version of this presentation and add it in.
Yeah, but the paper version won't have the flashing stars, so it won't be as cool.
So that they don't have only the disc to be able to look at it.
Your Honor, I would object as it when the time comes. Let's just get to that point first, and I'll state all those reasons why later.
All right, this is slide 21.
Oh God, if we open the door this much in the winter, I mean, we'd be the next fuel for the fire. Holy shit! I'm just talking about normal times like summer. Good God, if we, I mean, in the winter, you open the door once to go out to school and once to get home from school. That was it. Or unless snow needed to be shoveled, then you could open the door again.
Address this one or not yet. Can you tell us again what this?
Yes, on October 4th at 10:22 p.m., the front door is still open and the dining room door was open and closed.
Slide 22.
At October 4th at 10:36 p.m., the front door is still open and the dining room is open and closed.
One moment, please, Your Honor.
Somebody can open a door here or what? All right.
Liquor pressure was admitted into evidence in State's Exhibit 86. On page 5 of this exhibit, there's a text message that has been identified in prior testimony as being from Daniel Youngkin to the defendant, sent at 10:38 p.m. on October 4th. Can you read what that message
Yes,
says?
I can read Mother.
It says Paul showed up and is going to bed.
So with this opening of the dining room door seem to correlate with that message?
Yes, sir.
How can this guy look 45 and 12 at the same time?
Slide 23.
On October 4th at 11:13 p.m., the front door is still open and the dining room is open and closed.
Slide 24.
On October 4th at 11:58 p.m., the front door is closed.
Slide 25.
On October 5th of 2022 at 1 o'clock in the morning, the living room door is opened.
Now, let me go back to the last slide, slide 24. What's the time on slide 24 and what door is active here?
The front door is closed at 11:58 p.m.
All right. So between 11:58 p.m. when the front door closes and
All right, this is the
next
sketchy
slide,
time.
1:02 a.m. on the 5th when the living room door opens, was there any other door activity in the house?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, let me ask you about this living room door here. Did you look through the records to see how frequently this door is used?
Yes.
And what can you tell us about that?
There's September 28th to October 5th. This door was, I take that back, up to the point of when we arrived on scene, the living room door was opened only 8 times.
Okay. Had it been opened any other time that you know of on October 4th?
Not that I'm aware.
Slide 26.
On October 5th at 1:03 a.m., the living room door is closed.
Okay.
Slide 27.
On October 5th at 1:07 a.m., the dining room door is open and closed.
Oh my Lord, we're opening the door a
Slide
lot.
28.
October 5th at 1:10 a.m., the dining room door is open and closed.
Slide 29.
On October 5th at 1:26 a.m., the dining room door is open and closed.
Slide 30.
On October 5th at 1:39 a.m., the dining room is open and closed.
Slide 31.
On October 5th, 2 o'clock at 2:01 in the morning, the dining room door is open and closed.
Slide 32.
On October 5th at 2:04 in the morning, the dining room door is opened.
Slide 33.
On October 5th at 2:36 in the morning, the dining room door is closed.
Slide 34.
On October 5th at 5:44 in the morning, the dining room door is open and closed.
Well, none of this lines up with the I was out like a light and then I woke up in the middle of the night to run off to get some Oragel and came back. There's a whole lot more door opening and closing throughout the night. I think she's lying. Spoiler alert. I think she's lying. I don't know what you guys think, but I think she lied about not killing her son and going in and out of the house and only leaving once to get some Oragel. I don't think she's telling the truth.
Slide 35.
On October 5th at 5:47 in the morning, the dining room door is open and closed.
Slide 36.
On October 5th at 9:22 a.m., the front door is opened.
And is that the entry you were talking about earlier?
Yes, sir.
The 9:22 opening of the door that would have been several minutes into the defendant's phone call to Daniel Duncan?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, we've been going through this thing pretty quickly, but that door had been closed for many hours at this point, right?
Correct.
Wait, how did Daniel get out of the house?
37.
On October 5th at 9:30 in the morning, the dining room door is open and closed, and the front door is still open.
So
I legitimately have a question about that. Danny left right around 9 o'clock, but there was no door entry registered around 9 o'clock. There was like 5-something a.m. and then 9:22 a.m. Would Danny crawl out a window? Now, unless I'm completely wrong, if I was the defense lawyer, I'd bring that up. How accurate is this? You know, where's Danny going in and out? No, he got to work like right around 9 a.m. If I recall correctly, Danny got to work right around 9 a.m. Or did he? Oh, I can't remember. Because I thought he got there to work and he was there for like 20 or 30 minutes and then he got the phone call and then he ran off back to the home. All right, let's go. Let's just watch.
Hanging open.
Correct.
So Danny left at 5-something?
Slide 38.
On October 5th at 9:33 in the morning, the dining room door is open and closed, and the front door is still open.
Slide 39.
On October 5th at 9:36 in the morning, the dining room door is open and closed, and the front door is still open.
And slide 40.
On October 5th at 9:39 in the morning, the dining room is open and closed, and the front door is still open.
And it's sometime not too long after that the police show up.
Yes, sir.
Now, on October 6th, day 2, were you involved in some follow-up?
Yes, I think now you guys you're convincing me. I think you're right. He left. He was probably the one that left at the 5:07 or whatever the hell it was thing.
Investigation pertaining to Daniel Youngkin.
Yes, sir.
And you were paired up with him.
Special Agent Solomon.
Maybe we'll get the answer right here.
Danny's place of work.
That is correct.
Can you tell us what that place was?
It was Eclipse Warehouse. That's where he worked out over at the Parkway.
All right, in Fort Wentworth.
Correct.
Did you all interview Dave Mullins?
That is correct.
And did you all get timesheets for the defendant, Paul, and Danny?
Correct.
Did y'all ask them to provide you with surveillance footage?
That is correct.
And what were y'all looking for in that surveillance footage?
And then
what were y'all wanting to see?
In the initial interview with Danny, he described how he reacted when he received the phone call from LEILANI, which he was at work when he received the phone call. So acquiring the surveillance footage would just corroborate how he acted and when he left work and when he arrived on scene.
And have you seen that footage?
No, sir.
Oh, you actually haven't seen it?
No, sir.
Who got it or who received it
It would be Special Agent Solomon later on. He did not present it to us while we.
Oosh, what's up?
Okay. Now, you were the point person for tracing the trash, I guess.
Correct.
Can you tell us about how you came to be assigned to do that?
So initially, after we did the interview with Danny's boss, we all collaborated at the FBI headquarters, and basically everyone had assignments that day, and we brought back the knowledge that we had, and then we sat down at the table, and it was when Brad disclosed when Leilani visited her friend at Azalea that she never visited Leilani. So it drew up a red flag of why exactly did she go to Azalea Park if her alibi was speaking with Misty. And so that's why we focused the next morning on the Azalea trailer park.
So at the time of this meeting, Special Agent Snyder had already interviewed Misty.
Correct.
Okay. Did y'all have at that point, were you aware of video footage from Azalea as well at that point?
The video footage was recovered the next morning on October 7th.
Okay. So the interview of Misty alone made the dumpsters of interest to y'all?
Correct.
And did you then begin an effort to figure out where the trash in those dumpsters had gone?
Yes, sir.
And about what date are we at here where you started this project? And if you need to refer to your report, I'd like to get dates right here.
That would be October 7th.
Okay, so it'd be day 3 of the investigation?
Yes, sir.
All right. Had those dumpsters been emptied by that point?
Yes, sir.
Between like the morning of October 5th and October 7th when you're beginning this project?
Yes, those dumpsters were picked up the morning of October 5th.
Okay. Sometime after daybreak, I guess?
The dumpster, when they went to Azalea Mobile Park, he picked up those dumpers at 9:36 in the morning at Azalea Mobile.
Okay, so everything that was in there from, say, 1:15 a.m. on the 5th on would have been gone at the time that these dumpsters became of interest to you?
Correct.
Okay. So what was your first step in tracing the trash?
I got a hold of the manager of Azalea, Robin, and basically just asked her over phone, like, who takes your trash, and she provided a company, Waste Pro.
All right. And what'd you do with that information? Where'd you go from there?
I called Waste Pro, just the generic line, said, hey, I need to talk to someone. I'm conducting an investigation about a missing child. I was linked up with Joe Matz.
Who is Joe Matz?
Joe Matz, he's...
Alan, you are way behind. Yeah, I've already told Chet we can't call him Kyle Porterhouse. We can't call him Kyle Waffle House. No.
He runs Waste Pro at Hardyville, South Carolina. He runs the company like a manager.
And was Mr. Matz helpful to you?
Yes, he was.
Was he able to tell you whether his company had, in fact, had a truck empty those dumpsters on the morning of October 5th?
Yes, sir.
Was he able to tell you exactly which truck?
Yes, sir.
And was he able to tell you where that truck went?
Yes, sir.
And was he able to provide you with some documentation of all these things?
Yes.
Can you describe the documentation that he was able to give to you? He'll come in and testify about it in more detail, but can you describe what he was able to give to you?
Yeah, so the driver in the mornings, he picks up his, we'll say, route, and it's like a dispatch log. It's printed off. He receives it. The driver would just mark which one is still active companies, and he would follow that route. And it was just proven which place he stopped at during that day.
And did that dispatch log or whatever it's called show that this particular truck had in stock, in fact, serviced Azalea that day, October 5th?
Yes.
Okay. What was he able to tell you in terms of where that truck had then gone with the trash to dump it?
He went to a waste management landfill off Little Neck Road.
So once you had that information from Mr. Matz, what did you do with that?
I contacted Denard Johnson, who's basically the showrunner out there. He runs the landfill. I asked him if he would stop unloading the garbage he was receiving.
Did you go talk to him in person?
Yes.
And did you ask him whether he could tell you the general area where the truck that you were concerned with would have dumped its trash on the morning of October 5th?
Yes.
And was he able to give you that information?
Yes, he went out there and pointed it out to us.
Okay. Can you describe, just in general terms, the size and type of area that he was pointing out to you?
I mean, it's a massive hill. I'd say, 100-yard incline, just straight up, not safe to walk on. That's pretty much.
Did you then ask Mr. Johnson to stop routing trash to that particular area?
I did.
And was he cooperative with that?
Yes.
Did they reroute their operations to a different area of the landfill from that point in time?
Yes, sir.
What day was it that you were out there asking them to hit the brakes with dumping trash in that particular area?
It'd be October 7th.
That was October 7th that you met with them?
Correct.
And had garbage trucks been dumping trash in that area between October 5th and October 7th when you asked them to stop doing that?
Yes.
All right, so like a couple days worth of trash then?
See, I still think it is just it's a miracle that they managed to get all of that information. The dumpster that the child was dumped in, what time the trash pickup was, where that particular truck clocked in at, what sector it dumped things at. They were able to get all of this information and isolate it within 2 days. If it would have been any more than that, I don't think they ever would have found that kid, because it took them 6 weeks to dig through 2 days worth of trash in that one particular sector. So it's amazing. And Boosh member for 11 months plus a bunch more. Vice Squad, the best thing on YouTube. Love you guys. Jeff is a close second. Hey, I'll take a close second to the chat. Baradur better be awesome. It is. It's coming along. We're about 2/3 of the way done. And then we'll move on to maritime related stuff.
On top of Quentin.
Correct.
From there, were you involved in the coordination of what's been referred to as the landfill search, the effort to search this area that Denard Johnson pointed out to you and find Quentin in all that trash?
Yes.
Can you tell us what you remember about that, the coordination and different agencies involved and so forth?
So the FBI was familiar. They've done a couple landfill searches as well. And we got a hold of Team Adam, who specialized in recovering bodies in the landfill. Of Team Adam.
Wait, what? There's an entire team that specializes in recovering bodies from a landfill? How many? Okay, all right. I don't care where you live. I don't care what part of the planet you live in. If you live in a place where they have a police investigation team that is dedicated to looking for people in a landfill, you're not in a good neighborhood. Oh my God. Good Lord. Okay. Maybe it's common, but that just kind of took me by surprise there. Dang. An entire team dedicated to specializing in searching for bodies in a landfill. Holy crap.
That we know of. It was named after Adam Walsh, who was a 60-year-old child that was abducted from a Sears department store and murdered. And from there, I don't know exactly when they found the child, but
that's
they
a
weren't
good
able to
thing
find
I
the
didn't
killer
make an
until
Adam
20 years
Walsh
later
joke
when
like I
he,
was going to.
confessed on his
Actually,
death.
Your Honor, relevance to this investigation.
Oh, shut up.
So in any case, Team Adam is named after Adam Walsh.
Correct.
One of the original high-profile missing.
Correct.
Okay. Did consultants from Team Adam come down and visit the landfill?
Yes, sir.
And did they advise on the proper conduct of the landfill search?
Yes, they did.
Was an FBI agent named Brian Austin involved in this as well?
Correct.
Y'all were all working together?
Yeah, it was a group effort.
One moment, please.
I don't want to look at her. Move to the cute reporter in the back that just sat down, please.
Do you
There
see
you
in front
go.
of you a
Thank you.
document marked as State's Exhibit 61?
No.
I did.
Excuse me, counselor.
You
Could you take
recognize
2
that
steps to the left, please?
Yes.
What is it?
One more.
It is a search warrant for the search of the landfill. It would be Waste Management Superior Landfill at 3001 Little Neck Road, Savannah, Georgia.
And when did you obtain that search warrant?
The search warrant was signed on the 14th day of October.
Your Honor, I would introduce that as State's Exhibit 61.
Give me 1 second, Judge. I don't think I do one of them.
Jim, she moved her seat. How would you know that she moved her seat from the usual
No further
position
questions.
back there behind the door? It's almost as if you're stalking her. All right.
Nobles, let's start with the ADT stuff, okay?
Well, he came up. Oh, God. He came up there all indignant, practically ran him and said, let's just start with the ADT stuff. He's in a fit about something. All right, let's find out what I don't know what he's going to get snooty about here, but like I said, all right, let's just see where he's going. I'm curious. So let's start with
the ADT stuff, okay?
Let's just start with the ADT.
And you said that the cameras weren't working.
To my knowledge, no, they weren't working.
Did you seek to download them?
When I talked with ADT, they were unable to recover any footage when the search warrant was executed.
Okay. When was the search warrant executed?
It was executed on the 17th of October.
So almost 2 weeks later, correct?
Correct.
Right. But if you go through the records, and I was looking through it, it says that there was video footage, correct?
Are you referring to the search warrant, sir?
Yeah. I'm actually referring to the records themselves. It says monitor device driveway camera remote access test passed October 5th, 7:55.
That's correct.
So are you saying that there was footage, but it's corrupted, or you just weren't able to get the footage, or you didn't get the footage?
To my knowledge, it was a test that the system itself could connect to the front camera, but there was no video footage for ADT to obtain.
Okay. And there were several, again.
Counselor, careful, because the answer to the next question you're going to ask is, well, I guess someone in the house must have turned it off on the day the murder occurred. Be careful. We don't want to go down. We don't want to go down that path, Mr. Defense Counsel. Oh, and just in the nick of time, Winks. What's up, Winks? Come on, people. We need doggos. That we do. And Adara agrees with you. Throwing the $2 like it's going out of style. I ain't paying to heat the neighborhood. Oh yeah. Heard that one too. I ain't paying to heat the neighborhood. I've heard that exact thing. Exactly. Thank you very much. Well, we're on our way now. We're a little over 1/4 of the way there.
Several different sensor tests saying that there was camera footage and that the test was passed, but you're saying that you weren't able to recover any of the camera footage. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at this, and I'm just trying to summarize it. So according from what I can tell, it looks like that the front door opened, and I may have got the times wrong because it all kind of ran together when we were talking about it, but it looks like the front door opened on October 4th at 7:59.
We'll miss you, Bernice.
Closed 8:41. Opened 8:41, or maybe that's not. It's 21:41. I'm horrible with military time. What is that?
Oh, come on.
What time frame did you just say again?
Starting on October 4th, around 2100.
9
on your records.
Okay. 21:41. That's 8:41 p.m.
That's 8:41.
That is correct.
Okay, so 8:41 p.m.
What isn't? It's 9.
It says that
it's 9:41. You dumbass.
I guess 22:11. Is that correct?
Oh, this is the blind leading the blind. What do you object to, Straubs? 21:41 is 9. Oh God.
10:11 p.m.
So at 10:11 it's opened. Then you go on up and it says dining room open closed, dining room open closed, dining room open closed. Correct.
Correct.
And then it says October 4th at 23:55. 23:55 is what time?
11:55 p.m. It's right before midnight.
All right. Video device driveway camera remote access test passed. And then right above that, living room door open. And it says right above that, it says front door closed at 11:58, correct?
Correct.
And my understanding is, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you say that the front door wasn't opened again until 9:22 the next morning.
That's what the records indicate.
And so, but there were many different doors that opened and closed that night, correct?
Correct. In between that time frame, yes,
Right.
sir.
And they're all living room and dining room back doors, correct?
Correct.
What is a modem ping?
You have a modem ping. So
The modem ping 10.4, 22, 10.33, or just in general, just the
Just in
message?
general, what is it?
To my knowledge, the modem ping was just a testing of the actual access to the system itself, like that it was able to access the sensors. It's just a self check. So if that modem ping did not detect the sensors, then it would read something different, like unsuccessful.
Okay. And let's go on up on further into the morning of October 5th. Video device front porch cam at 2:07. No remote access. 2:19, dining room door left open. 2:19, sensor left open, rule event triggered a monitor notification. I assume that means some sort of notification.
Nice Monty Python reference there. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
so
See Winter Storm.
you can see we're going to go sensor left open, 2:19, the bottom one. You see where it says Joe Swan 2 at Yahoo?
Mhm.
So that is when he's accessing it with his phone. That's what I believe that indicates.
All right. So at 2:19, a notification was sent, correct?
Yes, that's what the records would show.
And it says dining room door, sensor left open, restoral. I don't know. What does that mean? Did you ever ask what that meant?
No, I did not ask what the restoral part meant.
Okay.
No, Peter.
And then again, there's just more opening and closing.
Daylight
correct?
savings time does not affect the.
So you did attempt
the
to
read
get some
military
video camera footage, but
It would
you weren't
affect-
able to.
It would
Yes,
affect
'cause I had the same question
UTC
you had
time
when I
or
received these records.
Zulu
It was
time, as we
pinging,
used to call
it was
it.
accessing a camera. And so I did reach out to Stacy as well and said, what does that mean? And she's saying, basically, it's just saying it has a successful test, but it's not, they didn't have any footage they can provide me.
So, and just again, it's showing successful testing. It's showing it's there. It's showing the equipment's working, but there's no successful or no camera footage, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so it shows that there's at least some faults in the system, correct?
I wouldn't say fault, no.
Well, if something says that it's working and then you can't get it, what would you call it then?
Well, people every day, they have rig footage and they're not subscribed and they can't access that video footage. So it's not at fault. There's no access to the video footage.
Are you saying that's what happened here?
No, I just use that as an example that the system's not at fault. The company just could not provide me video footage.
Okay. Well, did you ever check and see whether or not they had actually subscribed for the video footage?
No.
You just took the records for what they were worth, correct?
Correct.
You didn't do any further investigation into that.
I talked with Stacy Wise, who is employed with ADT and certified to provide me these business records. That's who
You can say no, that's fine. I mean, so you didn't check to see if there was any defective equipment or any camera footage or whether they were not subscribed. It's okay.
At this point, I think the question is asked and answered, and I would lodge an objection on that basis.
I don't think it's been answered, Judge.
I'm going to allow him to ask the question. He does have him on cross-examination.
So my question is, you didn't do any further inquiry on the issue of the camera footage.
Correct.
That was it. Okay. Now, with regards to the trash, did you, when you identified the trash truck, did you identify the route that the trash truck took?
Correct.
Okay. And what exactly?
All right. Do we need to talk about this? We need to talk about this because apparently it started. It's opened a Pandora's box of confusion. GMT is the old term. Now we don't refer to GMT, the Greenwich Meridian Time or Greenwich Mean Time. We don't call it that anymore. We call it UTC. It's the Coordinated Universal Time, and Zulu time is just another word for UTC. So they're all the same thing. Just GMT is old, UTC is modern, and Zulu covers them both. There we go.
Exactly was the route that the trash truck took on its normal daily route on that particular day?
I don't have the route memorized on my, but the driver himself provided notes of the route, and then the documents provided of the route itself as well.
All right. Well, and did the route include up and down Ageechee Road?
Yes.
Did it include up and down Buckhalter Road?
Buckhalter?
Buckhalter.
I would have to look at the route.
How about up and down Girard?
Again, I would have to look at the route.
Okay. So you don't have any knowledge of that to the best of your knowledge?
There's documents provided of the route the truck took.
Right. You just don't remember. That's all.
Correct.
Okay. That's all the questions I got, Judge.
You, sir, are a doofus.
Just a couple questions on this video then. Your search warrant, let me see your certificate. You talked specifically with Stacy Ann Weiss about these camera ping entries in the records and whether that might mean that there's video footage available.
Yes.
And she told you, we don't have any video.
No.
Based on her level of cooperation, do you think if they had video, she would have found it?
speculation.
I don't think it does. I think he can testify from his personal knowledge to this question.
Let me hear the question.
How many times did you talk to her?
I just talked to her revolving the records and what I didn't understand. I just talked to her one time.
And she told you they didn't have any footage for that address.
Correct.
Is there any reason to believe that that's not true?
No.
You talked to Joe Swain. Sit down. You talked to Joe Swain at headquarters on the 5th, right?
Correct.
Was he cooperative?
Yes.
He was showing you all this door sensor stuff on his phone, right?
So initially, when I interviewed Joe, he just spoke about Leilani and something wasn't right.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustain.
Okay.
Joe provided snapshots of what he had on his phone to me via cell phone. He sent them via text and looked up the system himself.
In the way of door sensor records.
Correct.
Based on his level of cooperation, do you think if he had video footage, he would have given it to you?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Sustain.
And are you aware of the defendant saying to investigators during this investigation, oh, the cameras weren't working that night because they only work when the alarm system is armed? Are you aware of that?
I like I like the prosecutor here. Defense guy keeps objecting. He's like, "Shut up, I'm talking." He just doesn't. He doesn't even break stride. He just rewords the question. He just moves on. He's like, "Dude, you're annoying me." I like that. He doesn't get all flustered when he gets objected to, and the objection gets sustained. That's why we really like Barry Scheck during his cross examinations and of witnesses and things, because he doesn't. You don't get flustered. He's just like, all right, whatever. I'll ask it in a different, because you can react to these types of objections in one of two ways. One, you can be like, oh God, you can go Elaine Bredehoff there in the Johnny Depp. I'm trying, and I don't know what to do. You help me out here, Your Honor. I'm all confused by objections. Or you can do it. This guy's like, all right, whatever. It's a stupid. I'll reword it so you don't get your fee-fees hurt, opposing counsel. And that's how this guy's rolling with it, and I like that.
Working that night because they only work when the alarm system is armed. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
I don't have any further questions.
Detective Noble, thank you.
Thank you, Detective Noble. Thank you for, you know that guy, like, he's like, oh God, why are you making me lead?
Yes, Detective Noble, you are.
Now I've got to go and testify for like an hour about when they open doors.
It's calling one more witness. Okay, and so, ladies and gentlemen, let's plow through if you are able. Do we need a comfort break?
Take a comfort break.
That's fine. So we're going to take a comfort break.
There we go.
So let's call it 10 minutes, and then we're going to come back and with the rest of the story unfold. No discussions, no research.
Why is this lady in the back wearing wallpaper? All right, let's scooch on over here through the break. And I guess the jury's coming in there now. And this is supposedly our last witness for the day. Ooh, we get more video and text messages and more routes. Oh, it looks like, wait, what? All right, cool. Looks like this guy's gonna give us some more what are it's gonna say video stuff. I almost said more VD. This guy's gonna give us more VD. No, he's not. Right. So this is a perfect time to take our midstream grift. We're an hour and 10 minutes into this. Currently, we got 280 people watching this horrible trial. We are at the halfway point of this trial, by the way. And once we finish this, we'll get back to our normal, regular scheduled stuff. We've got a bunch of stuff. We got to get back to Maritime Monday. We got to get back to our retro trial Thursday. We've got lots of Laura Owens shit to go over. If you're falling behind on that, we've got a few Judge Grudge things to go over. There's been a few little developments in Karen Reed land. There's been more filings in the Sarah Boone deal. We've been neglecting. So there's a lot of stuff that we got to catch up on once this trial's over. In the meantime, please make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and wait. It says we have a new member. Why didn't I get the notification for the new member? Who is the new member notification for? I still don't see it. Huh. Says there's a new member, but I don't know who it is. Hello, Mr. New Member or Ms. New Member, whoever you are. If for some reason you're not showing up. But let's see if we do have any super chats here to read. No, we don't. We are all caught up with everything as far as I can see. So, all right, we are 1/3 of the way to Doggo Cam. We're a long way away from that. Today, we may end after 60 days. We may not make it to day 61, but whatevs. It's all entirely up to you, good folks. I care not. It is up for you to decide. And let's look at our last witness for the day. What is this fine person's name?
The evidence you shall be a short and jury in the trial of this issue.
Taylor Burns. Before Taylor Swift takes the stand here, before Taylor Burns. Wait, what? YouTube, come on, stop. All right, YouTube has our that almost ended our poll. We have our like and subscribe poll here for the 195 of you. See, now look, we got 195 likes and 271 votes. So that's like 80 more votes than there are likes. It clearly says like, subscribe, vote. You can only vote if you like. So 80 people have cheated. But the question today, for no good reason whatsoever, is Pluto a planet? 11% of you say, it changed. 24% of you say, of course it is. 30% of you say, shut up, always was and always will be. And the full 35% of you, more than 1 in 3 of you said, it's a Disney dog, but also a planet. Again, there's no reason why that poll is there, just other than to get you to like and subscribe. Let's go back to the 1974 light switches on the wall here and continue with our final witness for the day, which we decided was Taylor Burns, FBI.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge. How you doing?
The judge didn't answer. How you doing? How you doing, Judge? Crickets.
Good afternoon. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Sure. My name is Taylor Burns. I'm a special agent with the FBI here in Savannah, Georgia.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from South Carolina originally.
And can you tell us a little bit about your education before joining the FBI?
Sure. Prior to joining the FBI, I obtained a bachelor's degree at the University of South Carolina in information technology.
And when did you graduate from South Carolina?
I believe it was December of 2013.
Did you go right into the FBI?
I did not. While in school and then for a few years out of school, I worked in the athletic department, doing computer work for the department for about 2 years prior to joining the FBI.
And can you briefly describe the process for you of joining the FBI and becoming a special agent?
Yeah, absolutely. So I applied to the posting on the FBI website and then got a call back at some point a few months after to do the first phase of testing for the FBI. Once I completed the first phase, I then was asked to do the second phase of testing, as well as a fit test, an interview, a polygraph, a background check. And then once I got through all of that, I did 6 months of training at Quantico, which was primarily law enforcement training, legal training, tactical training, defensive tactics, really the skills I would need to do the job as an FBI agent. And then once I was in Quantico, I then was assigned to the Atlanta office.
Okay. Did you ever work in Atlanta itself?
I did. So I worked in Atlanta from 2016 until 2022.
And then what happened in 2022?
In 2022, I transferred from the Atlanta office down here to the Savannah office.
Is that a transfer that you asked for or wanted, or just something they told you you were going to do?
No, that was a transfer that I wanted just to get closer back to home.
Okay. Now, does the FBI have authority to get involved in the investigation of reported kidnappings or child abductions?
Yes, we do.
And under that authority, did the Savannah FBI office become involved in the disappearance of Quentin Simon?
Yes, we did.
Now, I'd like to draw your attention to the morning of October, well, maybe it wasn't the morning for you, but October 5, 2022. Okay.
Okay.
Did you become involved as early as October 5, 2022?
I did.
Tell us where you were and what you were doing when you first became involved in this case.
Sure. On the morning of October 5th of 2022, I was in the office working, as usual. Sometime mid-morning, one of our other agents, Brad Snyder, who I believe you'll hear from at some point, walked over to my desk and said that there was a missing child out of Chatham County. He didn't really have a lot of information at that point, and our assistance wasn't needed at that point. Later, about noon, I believe, maybe a little bit later, I got a call from Brad again and said that he was going to the Chatham County Police Department Annex to assist and asked that I join him over there.
And did you do that?
I did.
Did you go with anyone else?
So myself and Brad were over there, and then another agent, Savannah Solomon, met us over there as well.
What was going on when you got there?
When I got there, a few of the residents from 535 Buckhalter were at the annex, and they were planning to do interviews at that annex.
This term annex you used, is that synonymous with Chatham County Police Headquarters?
Yes.
Okay. These three residents, were they the defendant, LEILANI Simon, her brother, Paul Simon, and Daniel Youngkin?
Yes, they were.
Did you get paired up with a Chatham County detective to interview one of these people?
Yes, I did.
Who were you paired up with?
Detective Sean Wilkins.
And who all did you interview? The two of you interview?
So myself and Wilkins interviewed Paul Simon.
Where did this interview take place?
It was in one of the conference rooms at Chatham County PD headquarters.
And what was the general nature of the questioning with Paul? What were y'all looking to get out of him?
We were looking for just information about his whereabouts during the time or around the time that of Quentin's disappearance, as well as the kind of the day prior, the day of, and just trying to figure out where he was, what he was doing, and those sorts of things.
About how long did this interview last?
It was about 30 minutes or so.
Did he answer all the questions that you asked of him?
Yes, he did.
Were there any questions that he refused to answer or anything like that?
No, there weren't.
What can you tell us?
Stringer Bell was with some cute old doggos there, gifted one Legal Vices membership, inching us ever so slightly closer to unleashing our very own doggo cam. And look at those little boys and girls, whatever your dogs are. Look at those little doggies. We got two of our own right over here, just waiting to be released. And thank you for that. Stringer Bell gifted one Legal Vices membership, and that went to Cookie78. You got a gifted membership. Make sure you give Stringer Bell a super special thanks for her gift to you. And let's go. Susan, the child was 20 months. So a little over a year and a half old.
Tell us about his demeanor, body language, and just general affect during your interview with him.
Paul was very calm, relaxed. He seemed very honest. He was honestly kind of goofy in the interview. There were times where we were laughing. But overall, that was kind of his affect.
Is that just kind of the way Paul is?
It seems so, yes.
Were there any areas of questioning that
seems
caused
Paul's a
any of that
little
to change
quirky.
or make you nervous or anything like that?
No.
At some point in the interview, was he asked for consent to go through his cell phone?
He was asked for the passcode to his cell phone, and he provided the passcode.
And was that the only one of these three individuals that you were personally involved in interviewing that day?
In interviewing,
You're $65 away from unleashing the emotional support potato pig dogs. $65.
Yes, I did.
At what point in the day was that?
So following the interviews, the interview of Paul, I don't know exact time, but eventually myself and Savannah Solomon went over
Chat. I love you guys. Exactly. Daily Quick Bites. This is the dick that cheated Paul out of his pizza. Yeah, this is the dick that lied to him and said, yeah, we'll get you a pizza. Interrogated Paul for 17 hours and didn't buy him a pizza. So Paul had to DoorDash the pizza on his own, and he still hates the FBI after 2 years because they didn't give him his damn pizza. Exactly. Yes, he's the pizza thief. Now he's shady AF, isn't he? Thanks, guy. Oh, before we jump into this, we've got where to go. AP, where'd you go? AP with the $5 for the Doge Cam. The Doge Cam. We're 60 away from the Doge Cam now. Yeah.
To the residents at 535 Buckhalter.
Is it fair to say that
he's annoyed?
Your involvement
Avoid the noise.
Was analyzing some of the electronic digital evidence?
Yes, I was involved with the cell phones, and just trying to figure out what was going on with those devices at the time.
Now, were you aware on October 5th that all three?
Of course, his eyes are dark.
These people's cell phones had been extracted.
He's a rat.
By Sergeant Coleman.
Yes,
only a rat would steal pizza.
Were you aware that later, a couple of days later, on October 7th, Deshaun Williams of the Savannah Police Department conducted a gray key extraction on the defendant's cell phone?
Yes, I was aware of that.
And were all of those cell phone extractions provided to you?
Yes, they were.
Did you look at them and go through them and do some work with them?
Yes, I did.
One of the things I'd like to ask you about is GPS mapping.
Sure.
Just generally, like a very simple level, what is GPS mapping?
It's just a mapping of points by satellites to identify, a location. For a cell phone, for instance, the location of a cell phone.
Using GPS data, were you involved in determining where the phones of some of these people were on the night of October 4th and the morning of October 5th, and whether those phones made any significant movements during that time frame?
Yes, I was.
Whose phones specifically were you able to do this for?
I was involved in looking for that information from Paul Simon's phone, Daniel Youngkin's phone, as well as the defendant LEILANI Simon.
Were you able to do some GPS mapping pertaining to the location and movements of Daniel Youngkin's phone?
Yes, I was.
And what data allowed you to tell where his phone was on the night of October 4th and morning of October 5th, and whether it made any significant movements during that time frame? What's the type of data that you were looking at as it pertains to Danny?
For Danny's phone, it was Life 360 GPS data.
All right. And how did that data get to you?
It was obtained via search warrant to Life 360 by the Chatham County Police Department and then shared with me.
What form does that data come in? What are you actually looking at when you look at records produced by Life 360 or data produced by Life 360?
The records I obtained were spreadsheets that contained latitude, longitude, and then like accuracy measurements. So that's what I received.
And what did you do with the Life 360 data pertaining to Daniel Youngkin's phone?
So I used the tool. It's available to law enforcement to map out those GPS coordinates that were in the Life 360 data on a map, so that I could see where exactly those points were on the map.
Okay. Now, for the defendant's phone, did you also have Life 360 data that you were able to do the same thing with?
Yes, I did.
Did you have any additional?
Yes, Life 360 is all up in your shit. You got to keep track of your kids, but also remember the cops got to keep track of you. Island with the $5. How are we supposed to get through Monday without doggo chat? Monday's heard enough already. Unrelatedly, by the way, thank you very much, Island, for the $5. Put 55 away. Monday's heard enough already. Unrelatedly, Jeff, are you wearing a Miskatonic sweatshirt? Why, yes, I am. I'm wearing a Miskatonic University Department of Literature school. It's the School of Literature. The Miskatonic University School of Literature. Thank you very much for noticing. You're smart.
Additional sources of location data beyond the data produced by Life 360 for the defendant's phone?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell us what that was?
Yes. So on the defendant's gray key extraction, I obtained GPS data direct from the device itself, which contained location information.
What is the difference between that GPS data directly from the device itself and the data that you got from Life 360?
So the data from Life 360 was information obtained from the application on the cell phone, whereas the data from the phone was direct from the device.
Okay. Now, what did you do with the defendant's Life 360 location data and what I'll call the device GPS data that allowed you to tell where her phone was and whether it had made any movements during the time frame we're talking about?
I utilized the same law enforcement tool to map out both the Life 360 data as well as the device GPS data on a map so that I could see where exactly it was.
Now, as for Paul's phone, did Paul have Life 360?
He did not.
Okay. So is it accurate then to say that no Life 360 data was obtained as it relates to Paul?
That's correct.
Did he have handset, like device GPS, like you talked about for the defendant's phone?
No relevant GPS data from his device was located.
Okay. So did you do any GPS mapping for Paul's phone?
I did not.
Okay. And that's just because
I didn't have it.
Okay. Let me ask you just a couple of overview questions, looking for kind of a crisp summary before we get into the details of what the results of this were. Okay. For Daniel Youngkin's phone, during the period of, say, 10 p.m. on October 4th and 10 a.m. on October 5th, what did you determine about where his phone was and whether it made any significant movements?
Sure. So for Danny's phone, on the night of October 4th, from about 10 p.m. until about 5:45 a.m. on October 5th, according to the Life 360 GPS data that we received or we obtained, his phone was at the 535 Buckalter residence during that period of time. At about 5:45, the phone is then observed moving from the residence to Danny Youngkin's workplace, arriving at about 6:15 in the morning, I believe, and then it remained there until about 9:20 or 9:30 that morning, and then it was observed coming back to the residence I don't remember arriving at exactly what time.
Okay. Is it fair to say, we're going to get into more details, is it fair to say that the times that you just gave are kind of approximate?
Yes, they are approximate.
Okay. For the defendant's phone during that same period, say 10 p.m. on October 4th and 10 a.m. on October 5th, what were you able to determine about where that phone was and whether it made any significant movements?
So for the defendant's phone on the night of October 4th, at about 10:30, again, approximate, the phone leaves the residence, drives up to a Circle K gas station at the corner of Ogeechee Road and Chatham Parkway. It remains at the Circle K gas station for a few minutes. It is then observed driving down Highway 17 up to Highway 204 in the area near Arkwright Lane. The phone is there for approximately 10 minutes or so, and then the phone is then observed driving or coming back to the Buckhalter Road residence. I believe it got back about 11:30 or so.
Now, after that trip, did the phone make any other movements that night?
It did. So after the trip to Circle K and Arkwright Road and back home, the phone remained at the house until approximately 1:14 a.m. At approximately 1:14 a.m. on October 5th, the phone is observed driving down Buckhalter Road and then is observed in Azalea Mobile Home Park and then is shown back at the house. And that trip was approximately 15, 20 minutes or so, I believe.
That's the trip where she allegedly dumped her baby. The trip to the trailer park.
Was there any period of time during that trip where the phone was more or less stationary at Azalea?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
According to the records, the phone appeared to be stationary for a few minutes at Azalea.
Now, why was it? We've talked about how a cell-right extraction was done on each of the three phones, but we've heard testimony now that the gray key extraction was only done on one, the defendant's phone. First of all, did all three of these people have the same type of phone?
They did not.
Can you tell us what types of phones they had?
Sure. For the defendant, she had an iPhone. And then for Danny Simon and Paul Simon, they had two Android phones, different types of Android
Paul
phones.
Hyman? Wait a minute. I think we're talking about something Paul Hyman. Yikes. Coyote Bait says, does GPS still work if the phone is off? Yes. I just learned the last couple of months the phones have GPS. Yep, that's how we get maps on them. Yep. They know where you are. Joe, and so you'll notice you can take the battery out, which would stop the GPS. But you'll notice you can't take batteries out of phones anymore. Wonder why. Joe Joy with the 5 pounds. Agreed. Mondays suck. Jeff makes it better. Well, you make it better too, Joe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. You make every chat you're in better. Thank you very much. Good to see you here. Glad you finally caught alive for the first time in a little bit. We're glad to have you here. And that puts us exactly halfway there. We're halfway to unleashing the emotional support potato big dogs. Let's see if we got about 30 more minutes here, and then the 60-day streak will come to an end. But not before Stringer Bell gifts one Legal Vices membership that went to Julie Schultz. Julie Schultz gets that. Stringer Bell coming in with another Legal Vices membership. Thank you so much, Stringer Bell. Appreciate that. And Strawberry appreciates it too. Strawberry's getting a little bit upset because Yoda's sleeping where Strawberry wants to be. All right, let's continue.
Have the exact types.
Is there any particular reason that the gray key extraction was only done on the defendant's phone?
Gray key, primarily at the time, I believe was supported iPhones much more than Android, which is why I believe it went over there to get a more thorough extraction.
Does the iPhone tend to give you more data than some of these other phones?
A full file system extraction of an iPhone, so like what was obtained with Gray Key, did contain more data than the extractions by Celebrite on the Android phones.
Now, you mentioned that 10:30-ish trip that the defendant's phone made included a period in which the phone was had a Circle K stop there for a few minutes.
Yes, that's correct.
Did you follow up on that?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Is the reason that you followed up on it because you had seen this GPS data showing the phone there?
Yes, that's correct.
Can you tell me about the follow-up?
Yeah, so myself and a task force officer with the FBI visited the Circle K and spoke to a manager there in an attempt to obtain video footage, video surveillance of the location during the time frame that the GPS data was showing the phone there. And so we followed up and obtained that footage.
Can you describe the process of getting that footage?
Sure. So we met with the manager. She pulled up the footage for the time frame we asked on the monitors, and then we downloaded a copy of that footage to a flash drive, I believe, and transported it back to our office.
Did that system appear to be functioning properly as far as you can tell?
As far as I could tell, yes.
And what does it show in terms of, well, let me ask you this. Did you review that footage to see what you could see during the time period that the defendant's phone GPS was saying she was there?
Yes, I did.
And what did you see?
I observed the defendant driving a vehicle into the parking lot of the Circle K, getting out of her vehicle, walking into the Circle K, going to one of the coolers, obtaining, I believe it was 2 drinks from the cooler, going to the counter, and then departing the counter back to her vehicle and then leaving the Circle K parking lot.
Do you see in front of you an exhibit marked as State's Exhibit 62?
62, yes.
Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Can you tell us what it is?
Yes, this is a flash drive that contains a copy of the video footage we obtained from the Circle K.
Your Honor, I would introduce State 62 into evidence.
There are strange things afoot at the Circle K.
All right. Now, you talked about getting these phone extractions and going through them yourself.
Yes, that's correct.
And before we get to the details of what else you might have
Oh,
done
look at this.
with phone
KT
extractions,
and David
GPS
Nelson.
talked
Great
about,
minds think
let me ask
alike.
you this. As to the GPS plotting that you've
We're all on the same
described,
page. I like that.
were you able to produce anything that shows these movements that you're talking about in a visual form that people can look at?
Yes, I was.
All right. Can you tell us what that is?
Yes. So like I said, I utilized a law enforcement tool to basically import the GPS data from both Life 360 and the defendant's device into the tool, which then mapped out the points on a map. And then you can create essentially a time lapse showing over a time period where those GPS points are then plotted on the map.
Is essentially a video showing dots moving on a map
That's correct.
in the manner that you described.
That's correct.
Now, other than the GPS data, did you review these cell phone extractions for anything else?
Yes, I did.
What kind of data were you looking for the period of October 4th, October 5th?
We were looking for anything that could lead us to the possible whereabouts of Quentin, anything that would lead us to a location where we could possibly find him. So things like text messages, phone calls, those sorts of things around the time of his disappearance.
Did you pull all of the text messages between the defendant and Daniel Youngkin during the relevant time frame?
Yes, I did.
Did you pull all of the text messages between the defendant and Paul Simon during the relevant time frame?
Yes, I did.
Did you pull all of the text messages between Paul Simon and Daniel Youngkin during the relevant time frame?
Yes, I did.
And did you pull all the text messages between Daniel Youngkin and Michelle McCarta during the relevant time frame?
All right. While they're pulling text messages out of everybody, we got a few things to discuss here, like a couple of really important things. First of all, Island, she was getting sad because there's no doggo cam. But Adara says, ladies and gentlemen, guys, gals and pals, all of those in between or otherwise, this is our darkest hour. We must rally to ensure the doggo cam persists. Well, Winks came in with the heavy hitter. Woo! F it, tired of waiting, Lamau. Wings has put us over the edge, and we kept the well, not we. I did nothing. I'm just here providing, hopefully, entertainment. We, all of us collectively, the royal we, you and I and everybody, all y'all have kept the streak alive. We are no longer 60 days on the emotional support potato pig dog cam. We are now officially 61 days into the emotional support potato pig dog streak. So it is that time for the 61st time in a row that we get to give that command that we all love to hear, that you've all been waiting for. That is the command to release the hose. And there we go. Winks and everybody else who contributed to get us over the goal line for the 61st day in a row. There we have the Yoda potato. Strawberry has intercoursed off to go get a drink while we speak. So there you go. We've unlocked the sleeping dog cam. I have an idea, Jeff. Doggo Advent calendar. That might be something to think about for next year. Like a Doggo Advent calendar. Look at that, Betty. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much for the generosity and whatnot and everything here. Now we get to enjoy the dogs for however long it takes. I don't think we're going to get through this entire witness, but we'll do what we can. I'll do a little bit of an extendo stream. We'll see how it goes. Yoda is my spirit animal. Oh, and Strawberry has just appeared. What's up, Strubs? Hey, you want to show them teeths? You want to say hi? You want to say hi? There's them teeths. Let's see them teeths. Teeths. All right. There you go. Oh, God. Now I've done it. That wasn't a play thing. That was just a, sit there and be. Shh. Dude, it's like midnight. Hush. All right, let's get back to this. Thank you, everybody, for all of that. I have to take care of the dog here. I have to give her pats.
Yes, I did.
Were you also able to see, at least for the defendant's phone, device data such as when the phone was locked and unlocked, like on the lock screen, when the flashlight was turned on and off, when the camera was turned on and off, and things like that?
Yes, I was.
Do these items contain timestamps showing when the phone was being used to make calls, send and receive text messages, and so forth?
They did contain timestamps.
Now, we've talked about a number of different categories of things. Your GPS screen capture.
I've always loved English Bulldogs and wanted them since I was a kid. They have the same sort of lifestyle as me, sleep and fat.
Phones. Have you prepared a presentation that basically puts all that together in chronological order?
Yes.
And this presentation is essentially the story of that night from the perspective of the phones.
Correct. Yeah.
Do you believe that this presentation will aid the jury in their understanding of your testimony?
Yes, I do.
Do you see in front of
All
you
right.
A disc and a printout marked as states exhibits?
Another
63A and
presentation.
63B?
Yes, I do.
Remind me, which one is A and which one is B?
63A is a disc that contains the digital copy of the presentation. And then 63B is a physical printed out copy.
Are these the presentation? This is the presentation that you've prepared?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would introduce this as States Exhibits 63A and B.
Give me 1 second.
Judge, no objection, except when it comes time later on, we will deal with the continuing witness issue. Okay.
Fair enough. Okay.
All right, that was pointless. All right, let's see what the FBI pizza thief is going to be giving for a presentation. All right, can we hurry this up, dude? Let's skip to the presentation.
Just the date. Sorry, Tuesday.
Yes, I got to move
4th,
this.
2022.
And that's where we're going to pick up.
That's correct.
On slide 2, what are we looking at here? If you could first just kind of read from the top of the slide and then describe to us what we're seeing.
Sure. So the top of the slide reads 10:02 a.m. to 10:10 a.m. Daniel Youngkin phone text message exchange with the defendant.
Where it says Daniel Youngkin phone there, does that mean that that is the device that is the source of what we're seeing here on the slide?
That's correct.
Okay. And given that, now what is the content of the slide? What are we seeing here?
So the content of the slide is text messages exchange between the defendant, whose phone number is 912-547-5275, who has a contact name, Lonnie Baby, to Daniel Youngkin's phone number 910-729-1458.
And what time was this message sent?
It was sent at October 4th, 2022 at 10:02:49 a.m. UTC -4, so Eastern time.
Okay, so UTC -4 is equivalent to Eastern Standard Time, at least at this time of year.
That's correct.
And what is she sending him now?
She sends what appears to be 2 selfies, pictures of herself. Yeah. Sorry.
That's fine. Moving on to slide 3. What are these 2 images?
Those are the 2 images that she sent to Danny.
Slide 4.
Wait.
What are we seeing here?
No, just move on. Just presented without context or comment.
Slide 4. What are we seeing here?
Slide 4. It's still a continuation of the same text message exchange. There's a response from Danny. It reads, geez. And then a second response, they done? Question, I'm in the bathroom.
Okay, so both of those are from Danny to the defendant?
That's correct.
All right. And slide 5?
Slide 5 is still part of the same text message exchange. Danny sends your eyes, though, with some greater Than symbols. And then there's a response from the defendant that reads, yes, I'm done.
And what time was that message at the bottom there, sir?
Again, October 4th, 2022 at 10:03 a.m. Eastern time.
Now, this next slide, can you read to us the heading at the top?
Yes.
No, can't read anything.
10:15 a.m. to 10:35 a.m. Paul Simon phone, text message exchange with Daniel Youngkin.
On this slide here, given that this is from Paul Simon's phone, which one of these bubbles is going to be Paul?
The green bubble will be Paul.
And which one is going to be Danny?
The blue bubble will be Danny.
Can you read to us this exchange, noting that the time that each of these messages were sent, who it's to and from, and all that?
Sure. So Danny sends a text message to Paul that reads, yo, Dave wanted to know if you'd go in at 12. I'm at dentist with LEILANI. She just got her tooth pulled. That message was sent at on October 4th, 2022 at 10:40 a.m.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the great mysteries of this trial is exactly how many goddamn teeth did she get pulled? He keeps saying tooth. She keeps saying wisdom teeth. How many tooths did this woman get pulled that day? That's what I want to know.
Eastern time. Paul then responds to Danny. This reads, yeah, I'll be in. And that was at 10:51 a.m. Eastern time on the same day.
Moving on to slide 7, can you read the heading into the record here?
Yes, the heading on the slide reads 2:32 p.m. to 2:34 p.m. Daniel Youngkin phone, text message exchange with Michelle McCarta.
And can you walk us through the contents in the same manner as you did with the last slide? This one's a little harder to make out.
Yes.
For those of us looking at the screen.
So Danny from his phone sent a text message to Michelle McCarta that read, just got home. LEILANI just got her top left wisdom tooth removed. I'm going to try to clean for a few while she naps. She's still loopy from mess. Is 4:30 still okay? Danny,
well, that sounds like one tooth to me.
That reads meds ***. And then Michelle responds to Danny saying, okay, 4:30.
You have some experience going through cell phone extractions and kind of deciphering what messages seem to mean?
I do.
What does that meds message appear to you to be?
It appears to be a correction for a misspelling on the first message.
Moving on to slide 8. What's the heading on this slide?
The heading reads 9:46 p.m. to 10:03 p.m. Paul Simon phone, text message exchange with defendant.
And can you walk us through the contents of this slide?
Sure. So there's on the left side, there's a text message from the defendant that reads, can you grab a GAR on your way home, please? And then a second message that has a question mark. Those messages were about 5 minutes apart. And then there's a response from Paul that reads, I got some mini at 9:59:49 p.m.
All right, I'm going to move on to slide 9 now.
Okay.
Wait, in what world are you? Bernice says if it was from one wisdom tooth being pulled, she wouldn't have had anesthesia. And Meat Popsicle says that's what I was thinking, Bernice. In what world do you guys go to places where they pull your teeth out and don't give you anesthesia? They give me anesthesia to do anything. other than like take x-rays. Any fillings, you get anesthesia. Most dentists don't give you anesthesia drugs for one tooth. They do for wisdom teeth. Yeah, they do. They give me anesthesia injections for anything they do in my mouth. How do you guys pull teeth without numbing it? In Australia, you don't? Like, you get teeth pulled and you feel them ripping the tooth out of your face without any anesthesia at all? They don't gas you. I can't do gas. Gas makes me throw up. They have to give me injections. Novocaine, but Novocaine is anesthesia.
What's my nine?
So, yeah, Nova. It's okay. Y'all scared me. Local versus general anesthesia. Well, yeah, okay. Now you're all making me feel better now. Okay, you're saying they don't put you under for. Okay. I was like, what kind of barbarian country do you live in? And they go, fuck it. You only got one tooth. We're just going to yank that bitch out without giving you any anesthesia at all. Okay. You're talking about general make you go to sleep anesthesia. Okay. Whew. Damn. Yeah, they numb you up for pulling, but that numbing is anesthesia. So, okay. We're talking about local versus general. Great. Whew. I'm glad. Exactly. Drops. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I had all four of mine out at once too. They put me out like a damn light. They wouldn't even do it at the dentist's office. I had to go to an oral surgeon. They did that for me here. Yep. Didn't kill anyone. Yeah. Yeah. It was rough for me. All right. What have I done? I didn't do anything. What did I do? Hey, stop that. All right, that was odd. It just shut itself down. The site will be able, and I know. All right, there we go. We're back. No big deal. All right, now that we've solved that anesthesia, you freaked me because I have this weird, horrific fear of dentists. And you're like, oh my God, they're pulling teeth with that anesthesia. I was like freaking out there for a bit. I was like, all right. A shot of whiskey and a stick. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, oh my God. All right. A local is anesthetic, but I see where we had the miscommunication thing. So it's the local anesthesia versus they just put you out like a light. They try not to put you out for a lot of things. I remember when I broke both of my arms, or they put me out like with. I shattered my femur in my first major motorcycle accident, and they put me under the first time. But then, like 2 years later, I had to go in, and they had to take the steel plate out. And they're like, "Do you want to be awake or asleep when we do this?" I'm like, "Well, that's a fucking stupid question. What do you mean? Do I want to be awake or asleep when you slice me from hip to knee, spread my flesh open, and unscrew a titanium plate from my leg bone?" They're like, no, you won't feel it. You'll be awake, but you won't feel anything. I'm like, stop talking about it. And I had to go in for a colonoscopy 2 years ago, my very first colonoscopy. And they're like, well, would you like to be awake or asleep when we jam this camera and laser gun up your ass? In what realm of existence does anybody want to be awake for a colonoscopy? So yeah, I'm always just the very much put me out of it completely. I don't want to deal with that shit. All right. Well, we've gotten far off the beaten track. So let's get back to this.
This is additional text messages from the same group of messages or text exchange. The message reads from the defendant to Paul, okay, you on the way. Paul then responds in a minute, and then the defendant responds, okay.
Now, based on the contents of these messages, does it appear to you that the defendant is home at this time, at least?
At this time, yes.
And that Paul is not?
Based on the text messages, Paul appears to be elsewhere, and she's asking if he's on the way home.
Okay.
So I don't know from the text directly exactly. There's no location indication for the defendant.
Okay. Moving on to slide 10. What is slide 10?
Slide 10 is a screenshot. Here, I'll read the heading. Sorry. 10:24 p.m. to 11:10 p.m. The defendant's phone trip to Circle K in Arkwright Lane. What this is a screenshot from the law enforcement program that I previously discussed, that I used to map the GPS coordinates from the defendant's phone and her Life 360 data. And this is actually a video.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you, because I perceive screenshot as like a still frame, but this is a video.
Correct.
Okay. Before we press play on this, can you step down and kind of walk the jury through what they're going to see when we play this?
Sure. So on the screen here, you see red dots. It's kind of blown or kind of zoomed out, but this is in the area of 535 Buckhalter for the residents. Once we play the video, you'll see these dots start to move, and you'll notice that the dots will move up this way, down. This is Chatham Parkway. Stop here for a moment. This is the corner of Chatham Parkway and Geechee Road. This is where the Circle K that I previously discussed. Then you'll see the dots move down Highway 17, all the way down to 204, go across I-95, and end up about right in here, which is where Arkwright Lane is, as I previously discussed. And then you'll see the dots come back down 204, back down Highway 17, onto Buckhalter Road, and then end up exactly back at where the area of the residence is.
Okay, so we get to watch her get tracked.
About how long total then?
About 30 minutes.
Okay. And this is all going to be compressed into a video that's how long, like a minute or two?
It's a very short video. I would say a minute or two
Okay.
at most.
Can you, when I play this thing, can you stand up and sort of indicate like when the dots start moving, just to kind of orient people? I'm not asking you to stand in front of the thing and walk them across the whole time.
Sure.
But just with your hand, can you, when they kick off and move down, would it be Garrard?
I believe that was Garrard over to Chatham Parkway.
Can you just sort of let us know when that begins?
Sure. Can you pause it for a second? Sorry.
Sure.
One thing I just wanted to point out, in the video, you may see purple dots. When I imported this information, these coordinates into the tool, I color coordinated the device GPS coordinates as red dots, and the Life 360 data as purple dots. So that's why there's two different colored dots on the screen.
Are they going to be more red or more purple?
More red.
Why is that?
There was more GPS points on the device than in the Life 360 data.
Is it fair to say that the device GPS is like more fine grained than the Life 360 GPS, or it hits more frequently or something like that?
There were definitely a lot more records. I can say that for the device.
All right, so I'm going to thank you for pointing that out. I'm going to hit play again.
And as you can see, the dots move. They're here at the corner of Ogeechee and Chatham Parkway. They make their way down Ogeechee, and then you'll see them pop up over across 95. They're there for a minute, and then you'll see them kind of coming back down Ogeechee onto Buckhalter, and then back here.
Right, then that entire trip extended from about 10:24 p.m. to 11:10 p.m.
That's correct.
All right. Moving on to slide 11. This actually is a screenshot, right? The still frame.
It is a still frame, yes.
And what does it show?
It shows the time frame
no.
the defendant's phone GPS is at the Circle K.
And roughly what was that time frame?
10:28 p.m. to 10:32 p.m.
Okay, so like the early stages of that trip.
That's correct.
Slide 12. What is this?
So the slide reads 10:31 p.m. defendant's phone cash app payment. What is shown here is information from the device showing a cash app payment, and the description is Circle K number 01412 for $7.04 from the device at on October 4th, 2022 at 10:31:18 Eastern time.
All right, so that payment, does that correlate with the time period that the GPS is showing her at that establishment?
It does.
Now, the next slide, slide 13, what is this?
So again, this is another video. Actually, it's a multiple videos in one video that have been stitched together. But this is the surveillance footage from the Circle K gas station.
Okay, and it's been stitched together to show what?
Just the movement, because there were different cameras at the Circle K gas station. So there were interior cameras, exterior cameras, and so there are videos from the exterior that then go into the interior and then back to the exterior, just to show movement through the Circle K.
Now, unless I had binoculars, I would not be able to see the timestamp on that video from here. Can you tell us what the timestamp says at the bottom there?
Yes, it says October 4th, 2022, 10:27:43 p.m.
Does that line up with the GPS and the Cash App?
That it does.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and play this video now.
Okay.
And actually, before I do that, well, I guess you've already sort of previewed it, right? I asked you more or less what we see at the Circle K.
Yes.
Let me ask you to do this. When I play this thing,
That'd be funny if there's like a big lightning bolt and there's a telephone booth in the middle of the parking lot.
to us where she's entering the frame so we know what to look for?
Sure.
Before you do that,
Yeah, sure.
before you
No,
do
you're fine.
that, we've been going for a little while. Everybody just stand up for a second. Let's just mix it up a little bit. Okay, everybody needs to stand up. Okay. Sometimes we need to work it out. I know I do. Okay. You haven't been here so long.
I know.
All right, y'all sit down.
All right. Do you feel limbered and refreshed?
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right, so I'm going to hit play on this slide 13. And again, I would ask you to just talk us through what we're seeing.
Sure. So as you see, a vehicle was approaching and parking in the parking lot of the Circle K gas station.
Whose car is that?
The defendant's. The video is still playing. There's just a pause. Sorry, not a pause on the video, but nothing is happening.
There's a pause in the action.
You'll see here in a second, the door will open and someone will get out of the vehicle. So the video is now showing the defendant getting out of her vehicle, closing the door. She walks out of frame of this camera, and then the additional camera angle from inside. She walks in the door, out of frame on that camera. There's an overview camera at the gas station that shows her going and walking over to the cooler doors. She opens the door.
So they got like a 360
And then
cam
you
at
see
the
she walks
Circle
over to the
K.
counter. You'll see a employee walk up here in a second. She's purchasing some items.
Can you tell what those items are?
So I can tell what appears to be potentially, but I can't say for certain. It looks to me like 2 natural light beers, but it's hard to see.
Natty Light, going high class. I like that.
All right. She then leaves out of the frame of that camera, shows the camera of the front door again. I don't know what that was, but she walked out and back to the vehicle. This is from the other exterior camera at a different angle. She then gets back in her vehicle. And then you'll see she backs out and then proceeds to depart.
And where is she headed at this point?
Up to Arkwright Lane.
ask, just because we're all looking at it?
Sure.
Does this Savannah police officer here have anything to do with this case, to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge. No.
Okay. He's probably just getting some coffee or snacks or something.
Maybe.
Okay.
And as you'll see, the vehicle's now departing from the Circle K.
Moving on to slide 14, what are we looking at here?
Slide 14, the heading says 10:32 p.m. to 10:45 p.m. Defendant's phone text message exchange with Daniel Youngkin. This is still a continuation from the prior text message exchange. There's a text message from the defendant that reads, "Gonna run to 204, I guess, at 10:32 in 20 seconds on the night of October 4th. There's a response from Daniel Youngkin that reads, "Oh, okay."
So if that Circle K timestamp and GPS and all that shows her at the Circle K at like 10:28 to 10:32, would this 10:32 text message going to run to 204, I guess? Would that be something that she sent to Daniel Youngkin like right around the time she's leaving the Circle K?
That's correct.
And his response is, "Oh, okay."
That's correct.
All right, moving on to slide 15. Is this a continuation of that conversation?
It is.
What's his next message there?
So Daniel Youngkin's next message is, "Be safe, I guess, my queen." The defendant responds, "I will be, and I'll be quick, I promise." And then Daniel Youngkin responds, "I hope so."
Moving on to slide 16. Is this a continuation of that same exchange?
It is.
And what does that first message there say?
So it's a message from Daniel Youngkin to the defendant. It says, "Paul showed up and is going to bed." The message was at 10:38 p.m. And then there's a response from the defendant that just reads, "Pal," at 10:40 p.m.
Slide 17.
Slide 17, it's still a continuation from the same text messages. There's a message from the defendant that reads, "Okay." Then there's a message from Danny that reads, "He said, son, about telling you he was on the way, then you leaving and him getting threatened to get ran over." There's a response from the defendant that reads, "I'm about to turn onto 204.
You'll be relieved to hear that I've already asked Paul or Danny himself to explain what that message meant. So
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So 10:41 p.m. I'm about to turn on to 204, and that's from the defendant to Danny.
That's correct.
All right. Moving on to slide 18. What does Danny say to that?
Danny responds, "Okay." And then the defendant responds, "No, he said in a little bit."
And does that message appear to be a reference to the thing about Paul?
I believe so, based on my reading of the text messages.
Slide 19.
Again, it's a continuation of the same text messages. There's a message from Danny to the defendant. "That's what I said, you said, he said, but he said something about, no, it was I'm OTW or something."
That's what you said.
And then
He
there's
said.
a
She
follow-up
said.
message
What?
That reads, again from Danny to the defendant, "Thank you for the bit left, BBY. So sweet, no lie."
And when was that message sent?
10:44 p.m.
All right. So next slide. Slide 20.
Slide 20, still a continuation of the same set of text messages. There's a message from Danny to the defendant. "Just noticed Paul asked if soda was free to drink because of kids only on Hawaiian Punch." There's a response from the defendant that reads, "Yeah, just tell him not to be excessive with it."
And what time was that message sent? Yeah, just tell him not to be excessive with it.
10:45 p.m.
And next
Paul.
slide. Slide
Paul
21.
mooching
Still a continuation
the
of same
soda
messages.
pop.
It's a message from Danny to the defendant. It reads, "Gotcha." And then a follow-up message that reads, "I love you. PLZ, come back so we can crash together."
Now, what time did Danny send that last message? "I love you. Please come back so we can crash together."
10:45 and 50 seconds.
All right. Now, this next slide is what? Slide 22.
So this next slide is a still shot of the GPS mapping of the locations from the defendant's phone, showing the GPS locations at Arkwright Lane.
All right. And about what period of time does her GPS show that she was at Arkwright Lane.
About 10:45 p.m. to 10:55 p.m.
And how would that relate to the timing of that? I'm going to go back to the last slide. How would that time period relate to the timing of that message that Danny sent her? I love you. Please come back so we can crash together.
It would be about the same time.
10:45 message, 10:45 to 10:55 at Arkwright Lane.
That's correct.
Moving on to slide 23. What is this?
This is another Cash App payment. The slide reads 10:49 p.m. defendant's phone Cash App payment. It shows that there was a Cash App payment from the defendant's phone at 10:49 p.m. on October 4th, 2022. The amount was $80. It was completed, and the source was Cash App.
Now, how far into her 10 minutes or so at Arkwright Lane would that Cash App have been sent?
About 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay. And so does that mean then that her phone is at least still showing her there for another 5 or 6 minutes?
That's correct.
Moving on to slide 24. Can you talk us through this slide and tell us how the timing of these messages relate to the time frame in which the defendant was at Arkwright Lane?
Sure. So the slide reads 10:51 to 11:10 p.m. defendant's phone text message exchange with Daniel Youngkin. This is still a continuation of the prior messages that we've seen. There's a message from Danny to the defendant that reads "or not."
And about 5 minutes before that, he had texted her, "Please come home so we can crash together."
That's correct.
All right. She did not reply to that message, did she?
No, she did not.
All right. So then he says, "Or not."
Or not, correct. At 10:51 p.m., the defendant responds about the same time or soon thereafter, "I love you," at 10:51 p.m., and then responds again, "and I'm about to be walking to the car," again at 10:51 p.m.
Okay. And is it the case that her GPS shows her being there for at least a few more minutes after that message?
That's correct.
Slide 25.
Slide 25 reads 10:51 p.m. to 11:10 p.m. defendant's phone text message exchange with Daniel Youngkin. This is still the same text conversation. These are messages from Danny to the defendant. The first message reads "Oh" at 10:52 p.m. Second message reads "Okay" at 10:52 p.m. And then the third message, also at 10:52 p.m., reads, "I guess I'm gonna eat this food. Try and stay up for a few."
Did he get responses to any of those?
He did not.
Slide 26.
Slide 26 is a continuation of the same messages. There's a message from Danny to the defendant at 10:56 p.m. that reads, "I know, want to be tired or you be tired, either bay."
And what time was that message sent?
10:56 p.m.
When was that sent in relation to the messages on the previous slide?
It's about 4 minutes after that.
All right. And how does the defendant respond to that?
The defendant responds, "I know, baby," at 10:56 p.m.
Slide 27.
Slide 27, again, a continuation of the same messages. Danny sends a message to the defendant that reads, "And I know you don't feel great. I don't know how you're still up. And that was at 10:57 p.m.
Before you move on to the next one, this message, now, slide 28, it's a little busy
Sure.
for those of us looking at the screen. Can you tell us what this?
Whoa, what was all that about? We had some random buffering going on there. That was interesting. All right. Back at it. See how much longer we got here on direct examination. Yeah, we got a bit of time to go here. What are we looking at? We'll go for 15 more minutes here, assuming that they'll let us continue here. We had that weird little bit of buffering going on. That was a little bit frightening when suddenly I wasn't there. All right, let's go for 15 more minutes, then we'll wrap it up for today, and we'll pick up the end of day 5 and the beginning of day 6 on Wednesday, because I will not be here tomorrow night. I have a meeting to go to. I have a dinner appointment I have to go to. So there will be nothing going on tomorrow night. Unless something remarkable happens and the meeting finishes up early. So, but we'll pick it up on Wednesday.
This is and what it tells us.
Yes. So the heading reads 11:01 p.m. to 5:20 a.m. Daniel Youngkin phone, no activity. What this is a table showing timeline activity of Danny's phone. It shows the last two text messages, both the message that he sent to the defendant with Ma, and then her response with Ma to him, and then the next line is a message from Danny to Michelle McCarta that reads, "Hey, the kids are going to stay here with her today, Miss Michelle," and that was at 5:20 a.m. on October 5th.
Now the timeline is that you mentioned this is from the timeline.
Okay, so the 5 a.m. leaving
Is
was
this something
him.
that you can view in the cell phone extraction. This timeline.
That's correct.
Does it include text messages sent and received?
It does.
Does it include phone calls made and received?
It does.
Things like that.
Yes, it does.
What does this mean then about that 11:01 text he sent to the defendant? Well,
About the 11:01 message. Sorry, what was that?
is this? Can you tell whether he did anything else with his phone during this time period that registered on the timeline?
Based on the information on my review of his phone, following the 11:10 message that he received from the defendant until sending the message at 5:20 a.m. to the babysitter, there was no other activity that I observed for the phone.
And that 11:10 message he received from the defendant, that didn't require him to actually do anything, did it?
That's correct. No.
So in terms of what his timeline shows as to things that he himself was doing with his phone, is it fair to say that there's just like a total gap from 11:01 p.m. to 5:20 a.m.?
Yes.
Slide 29.
Slide 29 is a still shot, I guess, of the defendant's phone GPS location, utilizing the law enforcement tool showing at 11:10 p.m. or sorry, between 11:10 p.m. and 11:15 p.m. The location of the phone, which is at the 535 McAlter.
Okay, so they're narrowing it down here. They're narrowing down the time when the body was dumped.
At or around the 530 McAlter address.
All right, and this is included just to show that roughly at this point she's home by now.
That's correct.
Slide 30. What is this here?
Slide 30 reads 11:41 p.m. Paul Simon phone, last activity. It's from what I believe to be a coworker of Paul saying, "What time are you going in tomorrow?" I'm sorry, TMMW. And then him responding 12.
Slide 31.
Slide 31 is a continuation of the same text message exchange with this individual. These messages are from this individual to Paul that read, "Let me know if you want my job, fam." And then the next message reads, "I'm about to quit this shit."
Did Paul respond to those messages?
He did not.
Slide 32.
Slide 32 reads 11:41 p.m. Paul Simon phone, last activity. It's a table showing timeline activity for Paul's phone. It shows the text messages that I just described. And then following the last text message at 11:49 p.m., the next item in the timeline is a incoming call at 10:24 a.m. on October 5th, 2022 from Billy Mom, and then an outgoing call to Billy.
And those
at
calls
10:34.
would be like well into the police response to the residents.
That's correct.
Okay. Can we tell from this then when Paul's last activity on his phone was the night of October 4th?
So there appears to be no further activity after 11:49 p.m. on the night of October 4th from Paul's phone.
All right, and that's the time he got that last text message from the coworker that he didn't even respond to.
That's correct.
His last activity that he would have done would have been at what time then?
According to this, 11:49 p.m.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about stuff that not text that he received and didn't respond.
Oh, sorry.
To the text that he sent.
The last message that he sent would have been at 11:41 p.m.
Okay. Slide 33.
Slide 33 reads Wednesday, October 5th, 2022. So transitioning from October 4th, 2022 into October 5th, 2022.
Now, what is this slide here about? 34. What are we looking at here?
Slide 34. The heading reads 1:02 a.m. Defendant's phone camera turned on and off. So what this is information on the phone showing when the camera was turned on and off on the phone. The camera was turned on October 5th, the morning of October 5th at 1:02 a.m. And then turned off a few seconds later, also at 1:02 a.m.
Well, that's not suspicious at all, is it? The camera on your phone just turning on there at 1:02 a.m. About the time your front door opens.
When you reviewed the phone, were any photographs taken during that time period?
Not that I observed.
Slide 35.
Slide 35, also very similar, reads 1:02 a.m. Defendant's phone flashlight turned on and off twice. So the first line of the table shows the flashlight turning on at 1:02 a.m. on October 5th, and then turning off a few seconds or about 10 seconds later, also on October 5th at 1:02 a.m.
You can tell me to move on.
Okay, yeah, move up. Next slide, please.
Okay.
Next slide is a continuation of the last slide, and the flashlight turns back on again and then back off.
And how long was it on for that time?
About 9 seconds.
All right, so 1:02 a.m., 2 sessions with the flashlight, I guess, one about 10 seconds and one about 9 seconds long.
Correct.
All right, that's right after the camera is briefly turned on for a second.
That's correct.
Both of those things are they both accessible from the lock screen of
Yes.
an iPhone?
Yes, they are.
So would that be consistent with someone kind of fumbling around with those two functions on the lock screen?
It could be, yes.
Slide 37, what is this?
Slide 37 reads 1:14 a.m. to 1:26 a.m. LEILANI Simon phone trip to Azalea Mobile Home Plaza. This is
And that's when the body of her 20-month-old son was dumped in the dumpster on this trip he's talking about here.
video of
Oh, no.
GPS.
Oh,
mapping
good. Video of the
this
GPS
phone
is okay.
From 1:14 a.m. to 1:26 a.m. on October 5th. When you play the video, it'll show the GPS points for the phone moving up Buckhalter Road, up to Azalea Mobile Home Plaza, and then back to the residence.
Just to orient us, maybe it's unnecessary, but just so we're clear, can you step down and just kind of trace for us the route that we're going to see?
Sure. So as you'll see down here, these are the dots for the GPS coordinates in the area near the residence. When we play the video, you'll see both red and purple dots because this does contain both the device location information and Life 360 information. You'll see them start going up Buckhalter Road until it gets to up here where the mobile home plaza is, and then coming back down back to the residence.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. And I'll go ahead and play that slide.
Can you move the calendar, dude? Embiggen. Yeah. All right, the body's been dumped and she's going home. Ugh.
What's going on right here?
So right here in the video, I took the GPS coordinates. Do you mind if I kind of stand?
Sure, yeah.
If you want to pause it there, that's fine too.
Okay.
So I took, you'll notice over here, I unchecked the GPS coordinates. These are the device GPS coordinates in order to show the Life 360 points because they were kind of hard to see in the video.
Okay.
And then I just clicked on a few to, give you the lat long, the date and time.
All right, I'm going to hit play again. Let me know if you want to pause it.
Okay. And then if you pause it there, same thing. So I took off the Life 360 data and show just the phone and device data during the time period, which is why you see all of these docs.
All the red ones.
All the red. Yeah. And then I click on.
Let me ask you this: have you been out to Azalea yourself?
I have.
Right. When we first watched the beginning of the video, are you able to get any sense for what kind of route the phone appears to have taken through Azalea?
Yes, it's kind of hard to see because it's so kind of blown or zoomed out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can kind of see what route.
Does it look like it kind of made a loop that goes by the dumpsters?
Yes, it loops in and kind of goes back around and then out. And this is just me ending the recording.
Now, slide 38, what is this?
So slide 38 is just a little more zoomed in picture of the GPS coordinates for both the Life 360 and the device itself from 1:17:22 a.m. to 1:20 a.m. So just that very small time window.
Now, from your review of this and plotting of this GPS data, was there a period of time where the phone appeared to be stationary at Azalea?
There was, yes.
Is that more or less what we're looking at here?
Yes.
All right. What was that time period again?
It was a few minute time period. I don't have the exact, but this time period that I'm showing here is 1:17 to 1:20. So it was like a 2 to 3 minute period.
Would the stationary period have been inside that window, 1:17 to 1:20?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe not stationary for that entire time, but the stationary period's in there.
Correct.
Okay. Slide 39, what is this?
Slide 39 reads 1:13 to 1:26 a.m. Defendant's phone plugged into charger. So this is information from the phone showing the device being plugged in and the timestamps. The table is kind of upside down. The second line shows that the device was plugged in on October 5th, 2022 at 1:13:26 a.m. And then it was unplugged on same time frame, but at 1:26 a.m. So it's plugged in at 1:13 and unplugged at 1:26.
How does that time frame in which the device was plugged into a charger line up with the time frame of the trip that you just talked about?
It lines up with the device moving from the Buckhalter Road address up to Azalea Mobile Home Park and then back to the residence.
What do you make of that?
I mean, it appears the device was plugged in during that time.
Okay, to like a car charger or something like that?
I believe so, but again, I don't know.
Slide 4.
All right, I guess slide 4 is a good place to wrap this up. We will watch the last hour or so of day 5 tomorrow, and then we'll pick up with day 6. So that's we'll call it a good day here. Let's get our last little glance at the tater pigs. There's Strawberry Potato Pig and Yoda Potato Pig over there. They're very grateful, as you can tell. They're thrilled and tickled beyond belief that we got to day 61. We are now in day 61 of the Emotional Support Potato Pig Dog Cam. Thank you, everybody, for that. And again, just as I mentioned, I have a business meeting, dinner appointment tomorrow night. It's Korea, so usually you eat dinner from about 7 to 8 or 9, and then you just drink and more drinks. So I'm planning on there being no show tomorrow. If there is, it'll be because something strange happened and we wrapped up earlier, didn't go to the second place for drinking. But anyway, please don't count on there being a show tomorrow. If there is, it'll be a miracle. But we'll be back Wednesday with part 2 of day 6. And I'm sorry, part 3 of day 5 and part 1 of day 6. That's what I meant to say. Just, you know what I mean. That'll be on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I need to put together an F at Friday stream, but I've been so busy. That might get bumped a week. I don't know. Just okay, it's gonna get bumped a week. I'm calling it now. All right, everybody. That's where we are. Thank you so much for joining me here for day 5.2 of the LEILANI Simon trial. We're narrowing her down. The fence is closing in on her. The perimeter is shrinking. Now they've got the video, they've got the GPS, they've got the time frame where she was at this dumpster. So the big net, they're starting to draw it in real tight. And I feel like I know that the last thing they're going to show is the video of her throwing her kid in the dumpster, and I don't want to see that. bit. I'm thinking that's where it's going. I'm going to send you off out into the wild here and just jump off to sleep myself because it is 12:30 a.m. here and the pig dogs are already asleep. So thank you very much again one more time for mods, for all you mods doing the moddiest mod things you did, and for being here and taking care of chat. Thank you so much for the super chats, the gifted memberships, the purchase memberships, and everything else that contributed to day 61 of the Emotional Support Potato Pig Dogs. And thank you for those of you that just sat here and chat and hung out and talked to people. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. This is your last chance to do so. And looking at our like and subscribe poll, what do we see? We see that according to the like and subscribe poll, 9% of you say, Pluto's not a planet. It changed. 24% of you say, of course it's a planet. 30% of you say, shut up. It's always was and always will be a planet. And 37% of you have said it's a Disney dog, but it's also a planet. So that's how our dumb like and subscribe poll ended. Thank you so much for hitting that like button, hitting the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, just double check to make sure you still are. And we'll see you on Wednesday, barring any major developments. Take care, people. Have a super, super fun day, evening, morning, night, whatever. Catch you later. Take care. Bye. Bye.